Hey, today I thought I would do a reading for the Taurus season. It's the season of Taurus now, ruled by Venus, and it's also a new moon in Taurus. So yeah, lots of Taurus energy, lots of Venus energy, and love's in the air, like really grounded creativity and like interest in aesthetics and food, maybe, like sensual, physical stuff. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Venus is in the shadow of retrograding in Gemini, so also like there's that kind of energy around communication and love, and just the whole retrograde deal where you're kind of going back over, reevaluating, in the process of learning new ways. You're kind of being more introspective sometimes about that, about how you communicate like your desires and passions, and also about like your particular Venus, like your particular interests and how you operate like in the world of passion and love and relationships and romance and everything, which has to do too with your Venus placement. So I think it's always helpful to know that. So yeah, what else can I say? I also have some rose quartz here that I thought was very appropriate for the Venus energy and for Taurus as well. Really clean, clear, yet solid and grounded. And I also, speaking of crystals, have some crystal cards. So these ones are Eternal Crystals, Oracle cards by Jade. Very beautiful. And so yeah, I've shuffled this deck and I'm cutting it, and let's see what we have. So we have a fluorite, spirit guides, third eye chakra. Beautiful card. You can see all the colors in that fluorite too. So spirit guides and third eye chakra, well, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? And it's about like clearing your third eye. And I often think for the, especially like for the divine feminine, getting a really clear third eye, like, how they say like a woman's intuition and stuff like that, can actually really help you ground. And it might seem like, you need to focus on your root chakra, which of course is also true and good to do, especially if there's an imbalance there that you sense or someone else senses for you that you trust. But yeah, that being said, actually like really clear intuition, it keeps you from, tangling yourself in the higher realms in a way that is just, doesn't feel good, because you're like on a road to nowhere kind of, when your intuition isn't clear and when your connection with the divine is not clear. And so if you have particular spirit guides, you can always go straight to God, or if you really like to call upon Archangel Michael, or if you have an ascended master that you sometimes get visited by. Maybe this sounds really woo-woo, but I mean, if you're watching a card reading anyway, then you're probably into this kind of stuff. But yeah, so it's perfectly fine and safe to have these things, and just feel into these relationships that you have with your particular guides from a grounded place. And guides can also come in the form of signs. So maybe you're getting signs from the divine that are guiding you, and it can go like that as well. For instance, like I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I'm just going to tell you, I felt very guided to watch Sex and the City last night, and it's a show that, you know, my mom wouldn't let me watch in high school, and of course I've seen some episodes of it, right? But like, my best friend would always watch it and tell me about it, and sometimes I go to her house and get to watch it, and I mean, it's kind of silly, like, to me to not let a high schooler who's about to go to the house not be able to watch that, but anyway, that was the case. And so the episode that I was guided to watch, at one point, a love interest of Carrie's finds a card on the ground, and I love Destiny cards, and so I thought that was cool. And he pulls the Two of Hearts, and that's my birth card, Two of Hearts. So it just goes to show you that if you're guided to do something, even if it seems like, I don't know, how is, you know, watching this episode of this thing like really gonna help me out? Sometimes you really need to just enjoy or experience something that you're guided to do, and just take that step to see what the message or what the experience really gives to you. I mean, you can't be given to in that particular way unless you go ahead with that feeling and follow, you know, your intuition, your guidance, and that should feel good. So of course, sometimes you're going to be doing something work related, and sometimes you're going to be doing something pleasure related. And I think a really good message for this Taurus energy is to combine those two into one thing, where your work really truly does become your play, and vice versa. And of course, just a plug for Life Purpose class. You can always become a member of Life Purpose class with Jeff and Shaleia if you want to go deeper with your life purpose, and really, what do I want to say, combining, you know, your work and play into one thing, and how to do that in a completely you know, loving way, full of integrity. Yeah, so I think that really concludes that card. The next thing that I wanted to do, instead of a card, was just Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover by Jeff and Shaleia. You can see what a pretty cover. Anyway, I'm going to turn to a random page, so we're just going to see like what is the message for us right now. So the page that I'm turning to is 76, and my eye goes straight to this last paragraph here on page 76. And this chapter is the mirror exercise, the only tool you need. So yeah, the mirror exercise is completely laid out in this book, and I highly recommend reading that chapter and learning the mirror exercise for yourself to advance your spiritual progress. And if you're into the law of attraction at all, well, this is like taking it, I mean, I guess you could say to the next level. That's such an understatement, but yeah, it's like, why learn that and not learn this kind of thing? Like, this is what you really want as your foundation for any other kind of spiritual principle or practice or teaching. So that being said, this says choosing radical compassion for yourself, your twin flame, and others in the world is absolutely essential to vibrating to harmonious union consciousness. It's never appropriate to beat yourself up for having an upset arise to the surface, especially if it's an upset you believe you already permanently healed. The correct posture is self-love and compassion, and return to doing the mirror exercise and go deeper in your self-loving. This love you are cultivating for yourself is a critical foundational pillar for your harmonious twin flame union, because what you are actively achieving is divine, unconditional love. Without choosing unconditional love for yourself, your twin, and others, you will not be able to manifest harmonious union, because harmonious union can only grow and bloom in the pristine soil of unconditional love. The end. So yeah, I think that the first sentence kind of really sums this up, just as a, repeat. Choosing radical compassion for yourself, your twin flame, and others in the world is absolutely essential to vibrating to harmonious union consciousness. And what is radical compassion for yourself and your twin flame and others? Well, it's really about dissolving any kind of judgment and bad feelings that you have towards yourself and others, and those can often be because of guilt, blame, shame. The whole guilt, blame, shame game is really keeping you in separation consciousness. So any of that you have, and one thing that I hear really common from especially from the Divine Feminine, but I've heard it from Divine Masculine too, about their twin flame, or who they suspect their twin flame to be, is like, oh, I'm like vibing so much higher than them, or they need to catch up to me, or like, I'm learning all of this stuff to advance my journey, my twin flame journey, or my spiritual journey, and they just aren't that spiritually advanced. And I mean, that's kind of like saying a part of yourself isn't that spiritually advanced, or part of yourself needs to vibe up or whatever, because your twin flame literally is you. So like, you're you, and your twin flame is your twin flame, and together you are one consciousness, and it's impossible for the two of you to not vibrate at the same frequency, even though one of you may have more money in your bank account. Well, your twin flame has that money somewhere else in their energetic field, just as an example. So if you have a specific spiritual practice, or knowing that you truly believe is more advanced than your twin flame, that in itself may be, but your twin flame is still like their life lesson, something that they know about spirituality, or maybe even like about finances. Finances can be spiritual too, like something that they've learned to do or cultivate with integrity and unconditional love is equal to whatever it is that you're doing. And it might be hard for you to see that, because maybe you've learned some seemingly hard lessons from your twin flame, and maybe they're with someone else, something about it seems impossible, and so you really want to fall into this trap of blaming them, or some kind of game like that. And I can just say it really won't serve you, so it's safe to release that and to move forward from a state of maturity. It is immature to put your twin flame down, and it is also immature to put yourself down, because that shows that you're not really taking care of your inner self and your inner child. And it's really important to do that if you want to truly progress on your journey and have the life that you really desire and be happy. So let's move on to Nature's Whispers. I thought that this was a great deck to use. I mean, I love this deck, but also I thought it was great for Taurus season. Very earthy, very sensual, very naturey. Oh, for Earth Day, that's right. That's why too. Yeah. So, shuffled these cards as well, and this card is Hope and Happiness. Beautiful card. This person, angel-y figure, just, wow, looks like they just got their hair done and they're like blissed out. Like, look at that. Wow. What a blow dry, huh? So yeah, hope and happiness, number 48. And there's a lot of like 4s and 2s and all that right now. It's the 22nd of April, the 4th month. And so yeah, a lot of grounding, like foundational energy, like the 4 corners, and then the union consciousness energy as well. And so it is safe to feel hope and happiness. It's okay to just feel that and to not be brought down by, some kind of feeling that's trying to take you away from that. Doesn't mean, ignore what needs to get taken care of, but yeah, it's safe to ride that wave when you feel it, of a good feeling, and let that guide you. And right now is a really good time to go deeper with creative expression in terms of how it really amplifies a good feeling, and so just whatever that means for you. If it just means looking at something that's more on the artistic side, or doing art, or baking, or solving some crazy math formula, I guess, could also be considered creative, whatever it is. But yeah, if there's something really enjoyable in what you're being guided to do or to interact with around creativity right now. And it's also a really good time to clear blocks between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, with Uranus conjunct the sun and the moon in Taurus. So it's a planet about suddenness sometimes, and change. And yeah, there's this sense of things opening, where there was a closed door, suddenly feels like there's an open one in your consciousness. And it's safe to invite that. That's, again, this feeling will help guide you. This hope and happiness feeling will help guide you through that door safely. There's nothing to be afraid of about that blissed out feeling and where it's leading you to. And let's do one more card to conclude this reading. Clear Endeavor, number 39. Yeah, again, very much about creativity and taking pearls of wisdom and applying them to your life. And a clear endeavor always just feels really good when you have some kind of a a target that you feel oh, this is easy, I've done archery before, I know how to make that target, I've got this, and it's just one step in front of the other. So it's safe to do the easy thing. You don't need to make something more complicated than it is. And I think that we're really learning that in these times too, with the whole quarantine. A lot of people it's oh, you can do work from home, so why are we making it so complicated to begin with? Of course, that's not always true, but I think there is a lot of reevaluating what the easiest way to do things are, and if we are indeed overcomplicating certain things as a society, where we could actually move into a higher creative space if we are willing to make the things that can be easy, basically. So yeah, the clear endeavor for you is all about doing that within, however you're being guided to, and finding out more about your own gifts too, and what it is that you have to give and receive from this world, and how it is easiest for you to give and receive, and going deeper with that particular energy for yourself and what that looks like, and then clearing blocks to doing that, because you find what feels good, and then sometimes it's easier to tell what doesn't feel good, and you can let go and release that negative pattern, that illusion from your reality. And then it makes more space for cultivating peace and happiness. So that's that for this reading. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy the energy of the new moon and that, kind of seed being planted deep in the soil kind of energy, the darkness that allows something new to bloom, kind of how that passage from twin flames finding your ultimate lover talked about as well. And take care, and of course I always am very happy to see all the likes on the videos, and subscribe if you want to see more of my readings and other videos. And of course share this video, and you can check out all my links below. I have readings, coaching services, and other great stuff, so you can find all of that in the links. So have a great, wonderful rest of your week ahead, and enjoy the Taurus energy. Bye.